Thank you for joining us for another edition of Liberty Nation TV. I'm your host, Scott D. Cosenza, with Mark Angelides, our managing editor, from across the pond with a wagering report on the odds of who might be the next president of the United States and the nominee for same on the Democrat side. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me.
What's changed with the betting odds for the White House this week?
It's been a pretty interesting week in terms of the betting odds. So you've had President Donald Trump is staying steady on 6-5 to win the White House, which is where he's been for almost a couple of months now. And this is a very strong position for him. But what's happened, what's so interesting, is that all of the other contenders, mostly Democrats, their odds, instead of increasing as you'd expect, seeing as they're getting a lot of press nowadays, they're actually receding. They're slipping a minor percentage each week. So they're not really tightening the race at all. They're really fighting amongst themselves. And this is failing to gain them any traction in the race for the White House.
So, Mark, I hear you say Trump is standing still and everyone else is going backwards. What accounts for the backslide among the Democrat candidates?
Well, quite interestingly, I think what this comes from is because now that the impeachment inquiry is in full flow, now the press coverage is actually getting worse than it has been in the past. And of course, he's filling up every front page, every hourly broadcast with Donald Trump's on the out, Donald Trump's in trouble, the impeachment inquiry is going to take him down. And this has relegated him back to a position that the president actually likes very much, which is the underdog position. This is a good position of strength for him because it allows him to go on the attack without putting up with what do our progressive friends call is punching down. Now
Yes.
that there's the impeachment inquiry, he's punching up. So President Trump is actually in a very, very good position. As long as he can capitalize on what's happening here, he can widen the gap between who's going to get the actual White House in 2020.
It's hard to imagine that the legacy media could increase their negative coverage of the Trump administration, but there you have it. What do we have in store for in terms of the odds for the race for Democrat nomination for president?
Well, this is really my favorite thing to watch each week because based on the odds, the presidency's going to Donald Trump again. But with the Democratic race, it really does often seem like a wide open race. And this week, what we've seen is Elizabeth Warren, although still maintaining the top spot, she's slid back a bit on the odds. So now she's down to 13-5. You've got Joe Biden, who's slipped a little bit as well. Pete Buttigieg's doing quite well. He's actually upped himself up. He's still in position 3, but he's gone up what in England we call 1.5 in his betting odds. So this is a very good position for him, which makes him one of a fairly standard top tier candidate now. Michael Bloomberg, in with a bullet last week, is now out with the trash and has been supplanted by Hillary Clinton as more of a favorite than Michael Bloomberg to win the nomination. And yes, Hillary Clinton is still hanging in there at 14-1 to win the Democratic nomination.
And what's the latest on Bloomberg?
Well, Bloomberg has slipped. He came into the race just after announcing that I believe it was the Alabama primary that he'd registered for. He came in at 12-1, and there was a lot of excitement on that. Even from myself, I thought that would be quite a disruptor. But he started walking back a lot of things now, and now he's about 20-1 to win the nomination. Although that could all change if he decides to go national.
Do we have? Well, he's an undeclared candidate still. Last we checked.
Yeah.
Is there countrywide or citywide, in some measure, in the UK where this betting is legal, and a measure of the total till or take for the wagering for each individual candidate? For instance, could we see that there's a lot of action on one candidate and no takers on another?
Well, actually, there's no actual access to that data because the gaming industry in the UK, it's private enterprises, so they won't announce how much they've won or how much they've brought in from each individual betting field. However, what we can assume is that most of the money has gone to Donald Trump for the presidency. This is why he's on 6-5, and most of the money for the nomination has gone to Elizabeth Warren because she's at the top of the Democrat nominee list.
Thank you so much for that market report, the awesome Mark Angelides.
Hi, folks. Lisa K. Donner here, editor-in-chief of LibertyNation.com. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, maybe even learned a thing or two. If so, please take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there in the corner. Thanks so much.